But let's begin in Utah, the Utah shooting that the country has been just trying to make sense of for the past week. The man suspected of murdering Charlie Kirk will soon face a Utah judge. Local and federal authorities are digging through the suspect's past and his social media presence. Utah's Governor Spencer Cox says the suspect is not talking to investigators, so they need more time to discover a motive. Listen.
I mean, there are conversations that were discussed specifically about Charlie Kirk, other conversations about the direction that this was going. And look, my job is just to tell people I really don't have a dog in this fight. If this was MAGA and a radicalized MAGA person, I would be saying that as well. If the friends were saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what they're sharing. And so I do think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this.
CBS News correspondent Carter Evans is outside the jail where the suspect is being held. Good morning, Carter. Earlier this morning, the FBI director said DNA on the towel wrapped around the murder weapon matched the man who is in custody. What happens next with the suspect?
So that is the big news today. You know, they've been gathering evidence. They've been analyzing it. They've been flying it to Quantico for analysis. So the fact that they say that they have a match is something significant. Of course, you have all that video evidence linking him to this crime as well as the alleged admission to his father. So what happens next? So once they made the arrest, they have 72 hours then to formally charge him. So over the weekend and today, the prosecutors have been basically building this case against him. And this is going to be really interesting. We're going to find out what that case they have is tomorrow. So we'll be able to see those charging documents. We'll be able to see some of the evidence that they have against him. And that'll all be before his preliminary hearing, which will be tomorrow afternoon, for which he will appear remotely.
Yeah, and if the suspect isn't speaking, it will rely on the evidence, the friends, the family, as investigators put together a picture of a potential motive. We've seen just a tremendous outpouring of a whole range of emotions since the shooting took place. Update us on some of the gatherings just over the past few days.
You know, we've seen vigils being held all over the country. Here in Utah, also in Arizona, there is going to be a very, very large memorial service next Sunday for him at a stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The president is expected to attend. And, they've had vigils, several nights here as well. A lot of people... You got to understand, he had a lot of followers who really admired him. They admired him for his ability to take questions from all sides. And not everybody agreed with his beliefs, but they did admire the fact that he would listen to them and take their arguments. So I think that is a big shock, to lose someone that you admire in that way. But also think about the thousands of people who actually witnessed this death, this murder. This was brutal for them. And, I talked to some students out there, and when I first got here into town last Wednesday, I could tell people were still in shock. They were kind of recounting what had happened. But as we have progressed through the last few days, the people that I've talked to, I think it's really starting to hit home. They're starting to feel tired and exhausted. I talked to one girl and her mother who said that a couple of days after the shooting, she would just randomly burst into tears. And I think that this is something that people are going to experience for some time, especially those who witness this.
Yeah, and that's, regardless of what someone's opinions may have been of Charlie Kirk's opinions, witnessing such a horrific murder is traumatizing. And as you say, so many young people, thousands, tens of thousands, if not more, have experienced that collective trauma. Carter Evans with the latest for us. Thank you very much. We want to jump now to CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand. She's at the White House with more on all of this. Natalie, good morning to you once again. What do we know about the president's plan to attend Charlie Kirk's funeral?
Hi, Errol. The president told reporters that he will be leaving early Sunday for Kirk's funeral. And as Carter mentioned, Turning Point USA has confirmed that it will be at Arizona's big football stadium, the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, which can hold up to or more than 60,000 people. The group expects this is going to be a large public memorial, allowing people, members of the public, to register online, saying it is first come, first served. The the group also saying that Kirk's legacy will endure through his family and the organization that he's built over the years, Turning Point USA, and a spokesman, in fact, over the weekend saying that over the past 48 hours, they've received more than 30,000 new inquiries to start new campus chapters across the country.
And Natalie, I guess as a way of underscoring the connective tissue between the White House and Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, Vice President J.D. Vance will be on Kirk's podcast today at approximately noon Eastern. Help us understand why that is.
Yeah, they were extremely close friends, and this is something that the vice president began to detail in an extraordinary amount of detail last week on social media, the closeness of their relationship, also crediting Kirk for helping to launch his political career. So that explains why today he's hosting an episode of The Charlie Kirk Show, which, as you noted, is expected to air today at noon. And this is one of continuing tributes by this White House and other top Republican leaders in Washington, D.C. House Speaker Johnson also announcing that he is going to lead a vigil tonight over on Capitol Hill. This follows his attendance of a large one held last night at the Kennedy Center here in Washington.
All right, Natalie, with all the latest from the White House. Natalie Brown, thank you.